there's a workshop on in Sunshine Coast or Brisbane or Byron Bay or something like that. It's $55 per person round trip. We can do op-shop tours, and there's all sorts of different things, ends parties, destination dates, destination day spas, all sorts of different things. So I'm available now for you to take bookings. As I say, you can come onto this site, or you can give me a call. And I'm really looking forward to connecting with you and taking you on a journey that's slightly different and a little bit fun and really inspiring and uplifting. So that's what I'm here to do. Also available for clairvoyant readings. This is quite a powerful post year this year, and this is also the busiest time of the year for me for readings and healings, as for other readers as well. So it's really important to book yourself in. This is going to be the year of the metal rat, so there's going to be a lot of change and transformation happening on the planet. Some good, some not so good, as we've already seen at the beginning of the decade. So and that's what part of this being Cosmic Courier is all about. I can take you, drive you to your destination, and we can do a reading while we're driving. So it's $25 per 15 minutes while we're driving, or we can do it before we go, or when we get there, or I can come to you, get a group of friends together. If you want to have a day of readings, healings, inspiration, all of that sort of stuff. So I'm available, back on board now. Just had a really good holiday, and I'm really, ready to rock and roll. So call me now to book, and I'm really looking forward to connecting with you. So have a magnificent day. Cosmic Courier, Sequoia, signing out now. Have an awesome day. Bye.
Right. Okay.
Wow.
No.
Surround sound.
Well, the thing is that it tickled pink, really, because so many people have been caught up with the news and current affairs shows that I saw this little light bulb moment saying, or thinking to myself, well, that's really interesting. There's something novel there in the sense that the Gold Coast is filled with a lot of people who are living on their own, and the opportunity to get one or two friends. And I know there's a lot of ladies who have always had a partner who's male, who's driven the car around and no longer is with them, but there's an opportunity for other members of the family or friends to put their hand up and give them a day's outing, and that day's outing is a bit different to the norm. So I'm quite sure, if you take the journey and speak with Sequoia with Cosmic Courier, it's just a out there name. It's entrepreneurs, and we come from an environment at the moment where we need an entrepreneurial spirit. We need someone who's prepared to dream the dream outside the traditional thoughts and patterns, and it just seemed to be you're the one to speak to tonight. And maybe you go around to hospices or hospitals or just a unit complex that people can go out and go to the rainforest or waterfall. It's you've got such an open area. I mean, you just look at the picture behind me with the cattle and the creek there. That's on Lyons Road, border between Queensland and New South Wales. So enough of me. Bring me up to date with Sequoia. I mean, obviously we've been in a lockdown moment, so your business has been wound back to virtually nothing, but now we have an opportunity to get outdoors. So how can we help you, Sequoia? How can we get people to sort of make that move and make a phone call and have a day's trip? How do we do that?
Okay. Well, I sort of started this a wee while back because I was driving a limousine, and which I really loved, and I loved driving people around and stuff. But I just found that people were, like everything was really planned and it was really rigid, and a lot of it was touristy stuff that people were doing. But especially now when we've just been through this massive time, of being inward, it's people just need to be uplifted, and sometimes you might just, you may have gone through, a really tough time. Walking's a really good, it's a really good thing just to be able to release that. And I've always found that when you're moving, you tend to move things faster, if that makes sense, because you put it out in front of you. So you're actually, you tend to be able to work through things a lot easier when you're moving and just going to nice destinations, you know, or you know, I've got a lovely friend out at Kanunga who's got a beautiful day spa, you know, and just getting a group of girls together, knowing, because when you've been massaged and pampered and all of that sort of thing, you just don't feel like driving, you know, and quite often, you know, if you've had a big experience, you just want to be chill, you know, so it's actually really nice to be driven around places. So that's, yeah, I just like uplifting and inspiring people, and I love driving, so it's a good combination.
Driving, I mean, coming out of New Zealand, I mean, that part of the countryside that you're in, I mean, most people hit Dunedin, go straight to Queenstown and Lake Wanaka, past
Beautiful.
down to Lake Tianao. You know, there's such beautiful, immaculate places on this planet, and they all happen to be in that quadrant of Otago and Southland. And so it'd be quite a pronounced change to come to southeast Queensland and the Northern Rivers, I dare say.
It is, but it's a different sort of beauty here. Like I do miss the beauty of New Zealand and the change of seasons, but here it's a different sort of beauty. Like I love the rainforest, you know, out in the back of, like even on Tambourine Mountain, you know, the rainforest, or in Byron Bay and the Mullumbimby area, right out the back. You know, it's beautiful. It's different countryside here, and it's really wild. You know, and there's waterfalls, and there's so many different places that you can go to that. And I think people being in lockdown have actually sort of come to realise what's actually important to them now. And it's not about being in the treadmill and being busy all the time. It's actually taking time out just for yourself to chill out and relax and realise what's important. So, yeah, and I just love driving.
Yeah, I mean, even with the cafes and all that stuff locked down, I noticed a few up at Beachmont there, you know, you couldn't actually sit in, and they asked you to keep away from their premises, so to speak. It was, and I noticed people just either sitting in their car or just parked up alongside the road. There's so many vantage points along that lower Beachmont Road up towards Binnabar, which is closed off. But look, I just think we just need to get you out there, mate. So you still driving this limousine, or what type of vehicle are you driving?
I'm not driving the limousine now. It's a little gold. It's an old Honda. It's a 7-seater. It's an Odyssey, and it's just a really cool little car. I've got like a little Ultra in the front of it, and it's just a really funky little car. So, you know, it's not flash or anything, but it's just a really nice experience, you know. So I've got access to vans if people want them as well too, but it's just a really funky little car. I'm actually going to get like, you know, Cosmic Courier, and I'm going to get angel wings on the doors, and, you know, it's just a really cool little car, but it's a 7-seater, so we can, you know, comfortably take a few friends, and yeah, it's good. And it's a Honda, so it goes everywhere.
So, okay, so in that little blurb there, you mentioned that, you know, you don't mind picking them up, but then you mentioned that you mentioned something that you got a gift. So that gift dwells in the fact that, you know, if people said, do you fear death, that wouldn't be a situation that you'd have a pregnant pause, you'd go straight in and say, no, it's all good. Would that be
absolutely, bring it on? No, well, don't bring it on, but, you know, and welcome it. You know, that's something that we've all been programmed to fear death, but it's actually just another step in our evolution, you know, and it's yeah, but it's a happy place to be.
So that's when I spoke to you earlier last week there, that you mentioned that's one of you, that was a gift that you had as a child. Yeah.
Yep. When we were growing up, I could always see things, and I always used to like, you know, astral travel, but I didn't realise that's what it was then. But I just was able to fly out of my body, and we lived in this one particular place in New Zealand, where in Rotorua, where we lived in this tiny little house, and there was a big old empty nursing home on the building, and I used to go over there all the time and play. And there was an old man that used to play, you know, those pianos that, you know, you play with the feet. And there was another woman there that, you know, she used to read stories, and she was always cooking. There were heaps of kids, and I didn't realise that they were all spirit kids. So I used to fly around with them and, you know, have lots of fun. And then I'd come home, and, you know, parents would say, I'd tell them what I'd been doing. They'd say, you know, they always said I have an overactive imagination, but yeah, it was just a happy place. And it's just sort of always, and then as a teenager, you know, when you're sort of partaking in lots of different things, I couldn't shut down. You know, I'd see accidents before they'd happen, and I'd, you know, so I used to think I'd made them happen, and all sorts of crazy things happen. So I realised that, you know, the two spirits don't mix. And But yeah, it's just been a journey, you know, just I believe that the more I can evolve in myself, the more I can help and inspire other people, because I've had a pretty full-on journey, lots of adversity, you know, most things that people have experienced I can relate to at some level. So that's been my journey, is to actually heal those things in myself so I can actually help people. So sometimes it's just about talking to someone, you know, and just being able to say, hey, you know, I get you, I understand, I've been there. So I think that's the greatest gift, is actually having empathy with people and understanding a multitude of situations.
I take it then that gift never went away. You still hear and see. Would that be right?
Yeah, it's sort of developed more as I've got older. Like I squashed it down for quite a while, and then it just kept coming back and things kept happening. And but yeah, the more, yeah, it does. It's always there. Like it's always there, and it just seems to get stronger and stronger. And especially now, where it feels like I don't know, we're moving into a different time and a different energy. So it just feels like it's stronger. As I get older, I get stronger. Sounds silly.
So you're one of those children who didn't know what they wanted to be when they grew up. Is that where we're going with it?
I wanted to be a fireman. That was the only thing I can actually remember I wanted to be. And I think because I set our house on fire, I didn't mean to, but I set our house on fire. I lit a rubbish bin on fire. I was playing with a lighter. So, and then I thought, oh, maybe I need to be a fireman. But I didn't. Yeah, I still don't know what I want to be. I just want to be me. I think it's going evolution.
So, you mentioned Rotorua, which is in the North Island, as opposed to Dunedin in the South Island.
Yeah.
So would you spend time in the Bay of Plenty there, or you come across the Waikato?
No, we moved around a lot when we moved. I think it's like something like 18 times when we were kids. So we started in Dunedin, went to Auckland, then we went to Murchison, then we went to Rotorua and Taupo, and then back to Dunedin. Then I lived in Central, you know. So I've always been a bit of a nomad.
Yeah, okay.
Which is why I like driving now, I think.
Fair play. What have we done here, sorry? I've actually gone and spelt your name. Or there you go. So, yeah, I'm going to fix that up later. Hey, okay, so yeah, I was talking to a lady, Monica, from up in Stanthorpe, and so she always had that internal gift, and she actually applied it in her day-to-day working career. And have you found, if you took a normal job per se, did you actually use your gift in your normal?
Definitely. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's also like it's almost like you intuitively know what needs to be done too. Like your intuition sort of works at a lot of different levels, so you instinctively know what needs to be done. So it's a good thing, and trusting that instinct always is the most important thing.
Yeah. Okay. So you find that you say it's more prevalent in females, that intuition and instinct?
I believe we all have it. Like when we're born, I believe that females, yes, I think intuitively a bit more, but men tend to be more gut feelings. You know, women tend to be like intuitively, you know, have a feeling, or, you know, sort of more heart-centered, but guys get a gut feeling. So I think, you know, it's the same intuition. I think I think we all have it when we're born, and as we grow up, depending on the programming that we're getting, you know, no, you can't, and you know, you're this and you're this and this, all the programming that we get, we start shutting ourselves down. I believe every person has it when they're born.
Yeah,
and
just not unusual. It might be someone who's a natural sports person who was told go and get a job. Sport's not going to amount to anything, but it turns out that golf and tennis and football is where the money is, isn't it?
Exactly.
If they had followed their dream, they would have risen to the top.
Yeah.
Okay, so just give us a bit of an outline that makes you shake, and what type of jobs you had that sort of brought you to this point.
I've always worked with people. Like I'm very gifted at working with people, and I tend to intuitively, I can work with people at all different levels, so I can sort of sense, you know, what people are going through or where they're at. So that, I think that's a really good gift. I've done lots of things. I've had I've done a lot of multi-level marketing. I had a business selling a product called Laminine, which was a stem cell superfood, and that was amazing. Like, we just ended up having this incredibly successful business. Still don't know to this day how we did it, but we had this amazing business where we ended up having 4,000 people all around the world on these products, and, you know, going to America and doing all of that sort of stuff, which was really good. I really enjoyed doing that, and it was I like helping people. You know, it's always been my thing to help people. So. Limousine driving, I've sort of pretty much worked for myself, like self-empowerment workshops and things like that, because as I've healed myself, I've discovered tools that I can assist other people with as well too. And I've sort of developed a process that, you know, you can bypass going through years of healing. You know, we need to heal our mind. And people aren't taught that on their journey. You know, we're taught you need to heal your body and, you know, heal your wounds, but you've actually got to change our mind, because our mind is where everything sits. You know, our mind's like a groove. You know, we get one thought in our mind and it goes over and over and over. It's like a record that keeps playing. So it's about finding that groove and switching it to another groove, you know, so it's you know, a groove of self-doubt or, you know, not feeling like you're enough. It's about removing that groove and then putting it in, I am enough, you know, I am empowered. And it just changes everything for people, and it's really fast. I believe things that, you know, you can do things really, really fast. Don't have to spend years soaking in it.
Yeah, I've actually came to that same conclusion where actors and actresses are probably the best proponents of it, because they go for the auditions where they've actually been given a script and they have to role play a certain character, and they have to sit in the character to be able to play that role. And so they have to see themselves being that character. I mean, that in itself is that transformation, to be able to come from the wings of the stage and perform in front of a live audience or in front of the camera. And they have to take on that whole persona to the point that it's believable, isn't it? So
exactly,
if those people have got a real head start on everybody else, because they've already learnt, boom, boom.
Yep. And it's a switch. It's a switch that's in the mind, and it's helping people find that switch and turn it on, you know, turn the old one off and turn the new one on. And it's really fast. It's amazing, you know, once you sort of get that switch. Yeah.
Right. So what have you learnt so far, just following the stories? Obviously, Queensland's still in a lockdown, so the opportunity to take Cosmic Courier across into the northern New South Wales border, into Nightcap Mountains, fantastic places up there, around the Clarence, the Richmond, just even Byron Bay. I mean, that would just have to be put on the back burner until such time as that comes to play. But in the meantime, I suppose our waterfalls are at Springbrook, Natural Arch, of course, and Numbers Valley.
Temporary Mountain, beautiful. There's some beautiful waterfalls there, and walkways as well. You know, like, you know, beautiful walkways down to water.
Oh, Cameron Falls, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Witchetty Falls, I think.
Witches Falls, yeah.
Yeah, and then of course you go all the back roads out through Boona towards Queen Mary Falls, up the back of Killarney, come back through the Cunningham's Gap. It's quite picturesque whether you go up or down, isn't it? So.
And down through Murwillumbah as well too. It's really beautiful down there. I've taken a few people down to the Tropical Fruit World down there, and then there's a really gorgeous little cafe in I can't remember what it's called now, but there's this really amazing little cafe down there. It's called Butterflies, and it's so beautiful. It's such a unique place, and it's like art studios and galleries and all sorts of really like antiques, and really, it's just gorgeous. And just going to places like that are really different, and it's just a really, I'll think of the name in a minute. It's really, really special places.
Is that Telgum, or are you over there towards?
Yeah, that's the one. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a beautiful little place, and there's a little, you know, like little gorgeous little shops in there, and, you know, and op shops. I love op shopping, and so, you know, quite often we get a group of girls together, and we might go down to Byron Bay for the day, you know, and we'll go op shopping, and it's really great, you know, because there's some really awesome places down there, some really cool, you know, drives that you can go through, and You know, and there's a bit of a loop that you can do, and yeah, it's just fun, just spontaneous as well too is a really good thing. You know, so I go, I don't know where I want to go, let's see where we end up, and that's fun as well.
Yeah, I don't mind doing tiki tours, and the mystery ones are even best, isn't it?
And I've got a picnic basket, you know, so I quite often load up the picnic basket and, you know, just jump in the car. I did one night down to Byron Bay to a place called Pinot and Picasso where they had an art class, and so everyone paid to do this really amazing, like this teacher was teaching them how to draw their star sign. It was on that night, and it was amazing. And I was doing like quick little readings while I was there, you know, while they were doing their painting, and they were drinking wine, and it was such a really cool night. And then, you know, people can just, you know, relax on the way home because you've had a couple of wines, and, you know, it's good, it's fun, different.
Okay, so people might be listening here and say, oh, you can get bus trips that do that, and you can get an Uber driver or a taxi might be able to do that. But it's a bit different, isn't it? You're really saying, hello, here's my hat. It's on both sleeves.
Yep.
I'm here to enjoy, well, if I enjoy myself, it's going to roll over to you guys. So
exactly.
We want some happy campers on this trip today.
Yep, absolutely. And I prefer not to go to places because I was also doing like tour guiding for a tour company. You know, they're going to vineyards and stuff, which is fine. But, you know, it's like I prefer. I don't mind doing that, but I prefer not to do that because I sort of found that, you know, like we go to all of these vineyards. It was quite funny though. We go to all these vineyards and they'd have 5 samples of wine at each vineyard, and that would be like, and we'd go to 4 vineyards before lunch. So by the time we got to lunch, they'd be laughing or they'd be crying or they'd be grumpy. And it's like, oh, you know, and it sort of ruined the energy of the day. Whereas, you know, if you go somewhere, take a nice bottle of wine and, you know, a lovely picnic, and I mean, obviously I'm not going to be drinking, but, you know, and you can go there and it's really relaxed and it's just a totally different experience. And you can leave when you want to, you know, you're not stuck to any, and if you don't like where you are, you can go somewhere else. You're not stuck.
And you don't have to have, well, you're one person out of 7, so you're talking about 6 people, but you don't really need to have 6 people because you can have that extra space there for, as part of your picnic, is that you stop off at country markets and get the fresh farmers fruit and veggies there for part of your picnic. And so who's to say that folks then say, oh, look, we'll use the other seat and we'll load it up with fruit and veggies to take back home, you know, for soups and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you don't have to have 6 people. You can have probably 5 people, 4 people, 3 people.
Yeah, 4 people is good. You know, 4 people seems to be a nice number, or 5, you know, but yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so how long have you been over in Australia now?
Oh my gosh, 13 years this time.
Yeah. This time? Oh, there was a
I came over when my oldest son's 31. I came over when he was 2, and then went back when he was 5, and then came back when I've got 2 sets of 2 older, 2 younger children, and I came back over here 13 years ago. So with my 2 younger ones.
Okay, right. So does that mean you got into Australia? Oh, because you were here in Australia before they stopped New Zealanders from getting any benefits? You could come in before they closed it off?
Yeah, it didn't sort of really affect me too much to start with, but yeah. I think we're more Australian than Louise now.
Yeah, and I was getting prompted by New Zealanders who've been here paying their taxes but couldn't get the benefits. You know. Pretty.
Not good.
Yeah, it's heart-wrenching, that one, isn't it? Hey, right, so Monday to Friday, is it just at this moment in time you've been locked down? You've been just like doing people come and do stuff through Skype or Zoom or something? How they've been communicating?
Yeah, do it through Zoom, or you can message me on Messenger, or you can ring me. My number's on the you know, on the page as well too. So it's easy enough to contact.
Okay, so and then do you work on the weekends as well by chance?
Yeah, I just work basically when people need me. It sort of works, you know. Yeah, because quite often the weekend's the only time that people can go and do stuff. So yeah, it's good. And now that things are opening up more too, it's really good. You know, people might well go, you know, and even doing like really romantic dinner dates, you know, pick the two of you up, drop you off at your restaurant and then take you to where you're going to go, you know, things like that. And you know, have a bottle of wine and, you know, some chocolates and things in the back for you. I mean, it's not a big flash car, but it doesn't matter. You know, I think the experience is and it makes it unique as well too. It's not an old clang or anything. It's a good wee car, but it's cute.
Yeah. So having that, you said a Honda Carnival, didn't you say? Odyssey. So Honda Odyssey.
Odyssey, yeah.
Yeah, so you got that space in the back there for walkers or wheelchairs, haven't you?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Okay. And you mentioned at the beginning a price. Is there a price for per day, or is it half a day, or how's it?
It's sort of negotiable. I sort of go, you know, like around this, you know, return trip. So say I pick you up somewhere. So you're going for a massage, and you know, and then I pick you up afterwards. It's like $27.50 for the trip. Normally, like, you know, $55 per person for, you know, half a day sort of thing. You know, so that we can, and that's a return trip, and that just sort of covers the insurance and stuff, because it's more about getting out and meeting people, you know, and then it's negotiable for day trips and things like that as well too. Or if there's a group of people, say there's a group of people wanting to go to a workshop in Sunshine Coast, you know, we can work something out because, you know, pick you up, drop you off, all of that sort of stuff. So it's pretty negotiable. But 27 round trip sort of, you know, around the Gold Coast.
Okay. So if I just throw up your mobile phone number, yeah?
Yep.
Just see if I've got this correct. 0468 477
That's the one.
Okay, cool. Very brilliant. Okay, and then of course they can get on Facebook, Cosmic Courier Sequoia.
Yep.
Big solid tree.
Yep, that's the one. It's been a big journey. Big journey.
Okay, so Sequoia is well known, of course, in California and so forth. But is there a particular reason you chose that name? Is it?
Well, chose it for me, and it was after a period like when we first moved over here from New Zealand. I had I actually had a dream that I was being shown around this amazing property. You know, it was really sacred land and everything, and it was just the most amazing dream. And then about a week, and so I drew the house that I dreamed, and then a few weeks after that, I saw a exercise thing. It was Byron Bay Lighthouse, you know, like Pilates, and I thought, oh my God, I have to go there. So I Googled Byron Bay, and this link came up, and it was the house that I dreamed, and it sort of took me off on this really crazy journey. So we were coming over here for my brother's 40th, so I arranged to meet these people. It was in Wilson's Creek, right out the back of Byron Bay. Beautiful, beautiful place, and arranged to meet the people, and just had this insane connection with them. It was the most sacred land, beautiful land, all organic, really beautiful place. And I just had a crazy connection with the two of them. And I said, I don't know how, but I believe I'm meant to be the caretaker of this land. And they said yes. And they said, do what you need to do to manifest it. So it was like a multi-million-dollar property. And so I had a healing centre and a home and everything like that in New Zealand. It took me 9 months to get over here. So I basically gave everything I owned away and came over here to follow this dream. And we had a massive journey. The first 5 years in Byron Bay, we were homeless 4 times. We moved 30 times, me and my 2 small kids. They weren't so small, but we moved 30 times. We were homeless 4 times. We were in floods. We were in cyclones. We were in fires. Like everything that could have happened, we did. We're on the bones of our backsides, you know, with poverty. And but through it all, like I've always had this guiding light that no matter what I'm going through, I'm going to be okay, and that whatever's happening, there's a reason. And so it taught me just that the whole process just taught me to trust totally and just trust totally. And, you know, you never know what's going to happen in front of you, but you just trust. And there's been a few times I've called on Spirit, help me. And then within minutes I would have things like I literally one day, this is just an example, there's lots, but one day I was driving down in the bush and there had been like flooding and raining, and this tree literally fell down on top of the car when we were driving. Like it just tipped over on top of the car. We were way out in the bush where there was no one there, and I went, Spirit, help me. And I swear to God, like within 10 minutes, a guy in a 4-wheel drive who was lost, because no one ever was down, because we live way out in the bush, arrived and towed us out. So within 10 minutes, we're out. So I've had lots of experiences like that have just taught me to just trust in who I am, and that no matter what's going on outside of me, as long as I trust in me, everything will be all right. And there's been some pretty hairy situations as well too with all of that. And then it just Spirit just said I needed to change my name to Sequoia, because the tree is about consciousness. The Sequoia tree is the oldest tree on the planet, and it has the consciousness of all of the trees. Some of them are over 2,000 years old, the Sequoia trees, and it was about planting my roots firmly in the ground and using those experiences to inspire other people. So, yeah, big journey. It's been a big, I've been, domestic violence, the whole, everything you can think of. But everything's been a gift, and that to me is my greatest gift. I can see the gift in everything that happens, and I also help people do that within their own lives as well too.
I knew there was a reason for you to come on today. I think that was the real message of you being on today. It's just
Thanks.
what you spoke about. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of empathy there, isn't it?
Thank you.
People can come in and they can spill their beans, and I mean, you're like the flying nun, isn't it? Sally Field in your own little golden little odyssey there, and
yeah,
people don't know why, but they feel really comfortable because it's who you are. Your journey's been quite spectacular, isn't it?
Yes, it's been amazing, but it just gets better and better as a result of all of those things. It gets better and better, and I know that what we can get through anything. Like my kids are so resilient, and I'm so like we can get through anything. And what we've just been through now. For people like my nana always used to say to me, because my birth name was Anne, you must always have a survival kit, and I've always had a survival kit, and things that, because we've been through this and we haven't been, taught to have these things, it's been a bit of a shock for some people, but it's just that knowing that everything's always going to be okay. As long as you trust yourself, it doesn't matter what anybody else says about you or thinks or whatever, as long as you trust yourself, everything's always going to be okay. And if you fall down, you get back up. You get knocked down 7 times, you get back up 8. That's just what life's all about.
Amazing, mate. Amazing. I mean, there's be a lot of people would just like to come and listen to you on that subject of how you suffered when you're on the bones of your bum, been homeless. Mother with 2 kids. I mean, that story of being a silent mother with 2 kids, that resonates with so many females in Australia, New Zealand, and other parts of Western culture, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, and that's one thing I've learned, we Aussies are battlers, and Kiwis are too, but especially when you've got kids, and this is what I've learned along the way too, like the woman that I've met some really amazing men too, but the women that are bringing up their kids are so strong. It's amazing, it's just, it's amazing, awe-inspiring. I'd love to write a book about, different people's stories one day, the journeys that they've had, just to, because everybody can relate with somebody.
Yeah, understand.
Hmm.
Just coming back onto your little trips around Southeast Queensland, Sunshine Coast, Darling Downs, Northern New South Wales. You got any favourites out of all those?
I really like Maleny. I like up around Montfort and Maleny, and there's some really nice sort of roads up around the back of there. Like I've sort of been, and part of it's just exploring too, just getting in and go, okay, well, there's a destination, but let's see. And that's how we learn to find our way around it, because I'm left-handed dyslexic double Aquarian, so maps and things have never been a good thing for me. So when I first came here, we were renowned for getting lost everywhere we went. So we just used to get in the car and go, let's just see where it takes us, and we'll end up somewhere, and you always somehow end up finding your way back. But just exploring is really cool. There's really beautiful places up around Minion Falls. Crystal Castle is a really good place to go to as well too, just to get that energy from the land. It's amazing land up there. And there's lots of really beautiful driveways because we used to live up in the bush there, you know, around past Million Falls. And there's just some really gorgeous places you can go. Yeah.
You done that trip that goes between Yukai and is it something rock by Nimbin?
Oh yeah, is it Little Rock? Little Rock.
I
no, yeah.
And there's an off track on the northern side of that road. It's basically a dirt track, and you go up and through the bloody national park, and you come in the middle of the national park, and there's the parks for picnics and stuff, and then you then make the next move through the bitumen, not bitumen, it's all gravel, and that, and you come back out onto the road that does the road up to Crystal Waters, you know, that takes a trip up to Numbaba.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they come out of nowhere, eh?
Yeah, they're beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. We're so blessed. Like, we really, really are so blessed.
And what about that one? Have you done Currumbin Creek there, and you turn off and go Tomawin over the top and come down?
Yeah, that's really cool. And you've got the national park at the top with is that the one? Yeah. And then you've got the falls, and you've got it's beautiful up there.
Magic. All right.
Even just the rock pools even the rock pools at Currumbin are nice, you know. Yeah. The beautiful rock pools are there, gorgeous.
Look, we could talk about all these really romantic places and nature, and it's fantastic. So do yourself a favour, as Molly Meldrum would say. Just get onto Sequoia, and here it is. Jump on Facebook, Cosmic Courier Sequoia. Book, there's the phone number, 0468 477 764. It's a shame we haven't got that. That 4 was a 767 or 747. Anyway, just as it is, it's all good. Anything else that I should have asked you that I haven't asked?
No, I think that's about it. Yeah.
It's good. It's been a pleasure to have you here. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. And I wish you really well with your business venture, and it's a source of inspiration to have someone driving that vehicle there who's got an understanding of life. And if you're feeling down and low, getting out in nature, but you've got someone who's got some empathy, been there, done that. And it's nice to have a shoulder to cry on. But there's no need for tears. It's tears of fun and laughter, isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. You've been listening to Radio FM 88 here in Australia. Time 7:44 p.m. It's 9:44 p.m. in New Zealand, and of course it's 10:44 a.m. for our friends in the UK who've been listening. Right. So it's a good evening, a good afternoon, and a good morning, whenever your time zone is. And until next week, until we next meet. Thank you very much for listening. Okay.
Thanks.